Hey everybody, this is Marley K. Hope you all are well. I want to have a discussion today about how it is that African American people continually remain on the bottom, and how everybody, one I this is a really difficult discussion for me to have because I used to do anti-racism discussions, and then I eventually just came to the conclusion after just not just my lived experiences, but just seeing how difficult it is for Black people to have discussions about interracial conflicts and interracial, um, intra ethnic or intra race racism. That's such a thing where we have issues with pretty much everybody. Nobody likes African American people, and America has conditioned the world to not like us. But when we try to talk about these issues and the lack of respect and these racist stereotypical tropes, people are like, oh, y'all need to get over it. That's problematic. But also, some of the most oppressed and grieved people in this country that are or get to straddle the fence on minority status, but they also can be white, um, have participated in our oppression. And so, what we're learning, people love to say, oh, we're a person of color too, we're oppressed, but they tend to not want to talk about their long history participating in the oppression, even when they say they were Jews, like, with the Jewish community, they say they um, were not white before they became white. And what we're learning is that's not true. We're learning that they've always been white. And they've done a lot of things to our community to oppress us, but they, like white people, work to erase their history and hide their sins because for so long we didn't have access to information. We couldn't read. We weren't um, well versed on where to go. Nobody was trying to really tell us anything. But thankfully, thanks to technology and books and different things, like we are learning that we really have no allies. Like we don't have any friends. What's more is that nobody wants to pay reparations. Like, I think it's very hypocritical that the Jewish community they don't let you forget the Holocaust. They don't let you not acknowledge their hurt, and they ensure that you need to pay reparations to them. But the fact that, the truth is coming out about African Americans being Jews, that they themselves have participated in the slave trade, they themselves have engaged in racism, owned slaves, had plantations, so on and so forth. There's no discussion about reparations. And so we're all having this conversation about it. And because this community has so much wealth and so much support globally, we're starting to take a look and say, hey, how is it that these people have used us after all these years to be colored when it suits them, and use our suffering and pain and laws meant for us to catapult them above us? And you look at them and you look at us. How is it that if we're the same, even in the same ethnic group, if we're all Jews, how is it that y'all are rich and we are poor? How is it that you're on top and we're not? If we're Jews and we're supposed to be chosen people, how come y'all chosen and we're not? It's because we're Black and because y'all are not? Really? So we're having these discussions, and I wanted to play this video that I saw on We Woke Now. Shout out to We Woke Now. And I'll put the description to the channel in the chat. But they do a really good job of breaking down the differences between the people known as Jews in America who are white and us African American Hebrews who are Hebrew Israelite descendants, and supposed to be the chosen people, how we are poor. So I'm gonna play this video for you, and I'll stop it throughout when I have some commentary. But it's a really interesting discussion, and it just goes to show how, as African Americans, we have to be really closed off. We have to change our mindset about how we think of allyship, because we've been harmed by a lot of groups, pretty much every group in America: Irish, Chinese, white people, um, Black people from the Caribbean, Black people across the diaspora, people from Europe, Asians, Indians, you name it, like Native Americans. Everybody has hated us. Everybody has harmed us. Nobody has done repair. And so, I'm of the mindset we need to protect our own selves at this point, because we don't have any enemies. We can't afford to align with anyone, because everybody has strategically and purposely misled and harmed us, and they refuse to apologize, and they refuse to do repair. So as long as people have that type of sentiment about us, you can't be friends with them. You can't, you know, bring them into the camp, and you can't trust them. So, this is a history lesson, but also, hopefully it will make followers think, how is it that these people have been allowed to do all these things and their history has been hidden, and then there's no call for repair? We're living our own Holocaust here in America. We've lived it for 400 years. Nobody has anything to say about it. They don't have any money or anything to offer us, no nothing. Unfortunately, Babylon is falling, and justice will come in a different way. But folks are going to regret not doing right by us. So let me play this Blackface, and this piece is called Blackface: A Long Jewish History. So listen to it, and I'll play it.
Jewish history. What is blackface? What is blackface? And I'm just going to give you a definition of it, based upon the Merriam-Webster dictionary. But let's see. This is not Oxford. This is actually Merriam-Webster dictionary. This is a typo here. I'll correct it. Not right now, though. But let's see what they say about blackface. Right? It says here, dark makeup worn to mimic the appearance of a black person, and especially to mock or ridicule black people. It goes on to say in the notes section, the wearing of blackface by white performers was from the early 19th century through the mid 20th centuries a prominent feature of minstrel shows and similar forms of entertainment featuring exaggerated and inaccurate caricatures of black people. The use of blackface is considered deeply offensive. Then entry number 2, it says plural black faces, a performer wearing blackface. And then you see the minstrels. Family, it's sad that no matter how much history you put out here, many of our people are still going to finance the delusion. They're still going to finance the delusion. They're still going to finance the delusion. I mean, we've been duped every kind of way, from children's songs, lullabies, cartoons, that the foundation, the basis of these cartoons were based off of mocking our people, like Bugs Bunny. When you start looking at a lot of those older cartoons, all about mocking our people. Come on, family. We got to be real about this, but let's keep it going. Did the Jewish community participate in blackface? Now, I know I didn't give you the answer to the question, but I'll ask it anyway. Did the Jewish community participate in blackface? Right. And I see you guys doing great with the polls. Let's take a look at this polls. Right. 73 of you guys have voted. All right. Those that are just joining in, if you want to go ahead and uh, uh, vote, because I'm getting ready to close this out here. I'm going to ask another question here. Matter of fact, I'm going to end this poll. We want to put another poll in here. All right. Let's put another one. Let's put another question here. All right. Let's put another question here. Did the Jewish community participate in, oops, in blackface? All right. Let's see here. Oh no, that's not the Q. I'm about to do a Q&A. Let me stop this one. Let me stop this. Oops. Let's get this out of there. Let's do this here. Poll. All right. And feel free to answer this question. All right. Don't be nervous, but I'm going to put this inside the comments section. All right. So the question is, did the Jewish community participate in blackface? And also, if you want, vote and share your information, right? Your answer inside the comment section. And I'll highlight you as we move along. Right. So again, did the Jewish community, as we know them, did they participate in blackface? Let's see what we have here. Let's look at some of the comments, and then I want to answer the question, right? So let's go to look at some of the comments here. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see some of the comments here. We have. Let's see here. Looking here. Joe Scott, the orchestrator. The orchestrators, or they are the orchestrators. Let's see here. Let's highlight you here. Actually, I thought I could do that here. Sorry about that. Looking at the wrong window. All right, they are the orchestrator. All right, let's see who else here. They started it. All right. Yes, factual. All right. Let's see. Timothy Davis. Yes. Did they? Did they? They are still doing it. All right. Amiyah. Yes. Leonard. Yes. Alexandria. Leggett. Yes. Carrie Banks. Right. Yes. All right. Sister Barbara. Yes to both polls. Uh, his Abigail. Yes, most definitely. All right. Black to my roots. Most definitely. Absolutely. All right. So looks like we all in agreement here. We know that they definitely participated in blackface. Yes, they did. It was all them. Sure, they did. Jacqueline Johnson. Sure, they did. All right. So let's go ahead and answer this question. Sasha Cohen's, right, the comedian, played a Rasta. So let's get into it. Let's answer this question. All right. Let's answer this question. Is this important to know? Is this important to know? And I'm going to tell you, yes, it is important to know. Should we be surprised if they did participate in blackface? Guess what? We should not be surprised, right? Now, let me just give you some information here, some historical information, because the Jewish community were major players in the transatlantic world war. Call it a slave trade, but it was actually a world war. They were major players here. The same ones that said that they walked with us during the civil rights. The same ones that say that they know our plight. But they were the ones that inflicted these cruelties on our people. They were the ones that was part of the whole world war. All right, let's give a source here for those that may be new to the channel. Jews and Judaism in the United States, a documentary history by Rabbi Mark Lee Raphael. So this is someone from the Jewish community that's highlighting their role in the transatlantic world war, even though they dumbed us down to saying slave trade. It's a world war. And I encourage you guys, look up the definition of a world war. And I also presented documents proving that they declared war on our people. It was a world war. So again, we are sons and daughters of prisoners of war. So this is Jews and Judaism in the United States, right? Notice what this says. Jews also took an active part in the Dutch colonial slave trade. Indeed, by laws of the recipe, Mauritius congregations included an imposta, in other words, a Jewish tax of 5 soldos for each Negro slave a Brazilian Jew purchased from the West Indies Company. Slave auctions were postponed if they fell on a Jewish holiday. In Correccio, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Excuse me, Spanish is not my forte. But in the 17th century, as well as in the British colonies of Barbados and Jamaica, and I'm going to do something on Jamaica because there's an Asian lady that completely disrespected our brothers and sisters, right? And unfortunately, some of our brothers and sisters are allowing her or agreeing with her craziness, trying to tell our people that anyway. I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag. I'm even yeah, I'm going to do a video on it very soon. But anyway, Barbados and Jamaica in the 18th century, Jewish merchants played a major role in the slave trade. Notice what it says: Jewish merchants played a major role. See, many of them would try to reduce their role. No, they played a major role in this world war on our people. In fact, in all the American colonies, whether French, British, or Dutch, Jewish merchants frequently dominated. Wait a minute, let's say that again, family, because many of our brothers and sisters won't get this. Jewish merchants frequently dominated, frequently dominated. This was no less true on the North American mainland, where during the 18th century, Jews participated in the triangular trade that brought slaves from Africa to West Indies and there exchanged them for molasses, which in turn was taken to New England and converted into rum for sale in Africa. Isaac da Costa of Charleston, that's Charleston, South Carolina, right? In the 1750s, that's the Jewish guy. David Franks of Philadelphia in the 1760s, Jewish guy. Aaron Lopez of Newport News, Virginia in the late 1760s, Jewish guy. And early 1770s, dominated Jewish slave trading on the American continent. In these European outposts, the Jews, with their years of mercantile experience and network of friends and family providing market reports of great use, played a significant role in the merchant capitalism, commercial revolution, and territorial expansion that developed the New World and established the colonial economics or economies, excuse me. The Jewish Caribbean nexus provided Jews with the opportunity to claim a disproportionate influence in the 17th, 18th century New World commerce. You guys better stop looking for this New World Order. It's been here. The New World Order has been here, running full steam ahead, and enabled Indian Jewry far outnumbering its co-religionists. Let me say that again. Enabled West Indian Jewry far outnumbering its core religionists. Further north, to enjoy a centrality which North American Jews would not achieve for a long time to come. Groups of Jews began to arrive in Suriname in the middle of the 17th century. After the Portuguese regained control of North Brazil by 1694, 27 years after the British had surrendered Suriname to the Dutch, there were about 100 Jewish families and 50 single Jews there, or about 570 persons. They possessed more than 40 estates and 9,000 slaves, contributed 25,905 pounds of sugar as a gift for the building of a hospital, and carried on an active trade with Newport and other colonial ports. By 1730, Jews owned 115 plantations and were a large part of a sugar export business, which sent out 21,680 pounds of sugar to European and New World markets in 1730 alone. And you know, when you study history, the sugar plantations, those were the worst of all plantations for our ancestors to be on. That was the most brutal, even though all the plantations are brutal, but this was the plantations. These were the plantations that our ancestors were begging not to go to. Slave trading was a major feature of Jewish economic life. Let me say that again. Slave trading was a major feature of Jewish economic life. So, building up generational wealth off the enslavement of our people, the war on our people. Suriname, which as a major stopping off point in the triangular trade. So, how do we share the same how do we share the same struggles, family?
And that is where I want to end this video. I will put the video in the description if you would like to watch the video in its entirety. But as I go through history and start reading about how all these other groups treated us prior to coming to this land, um, it doesn't matter what group you look at. You look at the Africans who sold us into slavery, who helped capture us and sold us. Look at all these other groups who made arrangements and started wars to capture us, take our land in Africa, so on and so forth. How we are treated here when it comes to immigration, and how this country uses immigration to to such to strategically um, keep us in pockets of oppression, and they teach other groups how to come in and oppress us, and give them privileges and power and positions where they're able to do it and do it effectively so that it benefits all across the board except for us. Like, I don't understand how is it that Black people keep thinking that we have some type of alliance. And I get it. We have been bamboozled by the system, the illusion of inclusion, the push to keep shooting for equity and equality and all these catchy buzzwords, but nothing ever changes. Seems like the same people keep winning, the same people stay in power. When we go back to thinking about this whole Kyrie and Kanye and all these other Black people who have been vilified for speaking out about a certain group of people who, you know, are strategically placed throughout our system to make things happen to us, whether it is through the technocracy, politically, whether it's through media and entertainment, financial, economic, banking, media. However, something is just not right, and it does not sit well with me. I'm really tired of our people thinking that we can friend our way with people who actually literally have a deep-seated um, hate for us, a hatred for us. And nobody is held responsible. Everybody gets to casually forget their history, forget their oppression, forget how much money they've made off of us, forget how they accrue their wealth, and not pay a penny in reparations, do no repair. Everybody gets to turn their head and pretend like nothing ever happened. And then when we cry, everybody runs and, oh, we're your friend too. We're just like you. How? Like how? How you weren't sold as slaves, so how are we the same people? The Holocaust didn't do all this to you for this extended period of time. And you have a whole country made for you. You have campaigns globally. People from all religions give to the white Jews so they can go home to Israel. I mean, just, you think about all the money and all the programs that they have just based on the Holocaust. And prior to the Holocaust, nobody has anything to say about the slave trade that they were engaged in the 1700s. We just act like that didn't even happen. So, anywho, I just want to give people some food for thought. We really, as African Americans, I see all these diaspora wars, all this black men hating black women hating black men. Like, we don't even like ourselves. So, how do we expect anybody else in the world to like us? And I don't really care if anybody else in the world likes us, but we gotta start taking care of ourselves. Like, nobody is going to, we can't fight this system divided. No other groups are divided the way that we are. And everybody has had a hand in creating the divisions that you see today and the dysfunction in our community. So, when this group says, oh, we're not like you do XXX thing, you got to ask how that group contributed to our dysfunction. And what have they done to make us whole when you can directly point to the ways that they have helped harm us? So I'm still of the mindset that we don't have any friends. We have a few handful of allies. But as far as collective groups saying, oh, yeah, we are people of color and we share the same struggle. No, we don't. Nobody shares the struggle that we do. Nobody. Everybody has owned us. Native Americans have owned slaves. Black people have owned slaves. White folks have owned slaves. Irish people have owned slaves. Jews have owned slaves. Mexicans have owned slaves. You know, Arabs have owned slaves. They started it. So, you know, we can't be looking to all these other groups to help us. If we're not going to fight for ourselves and hold people accountable, nobody's going to respect us. And so, the reason that I take my time and I talk about issues that impact African American people in particular, because I'm African American, but two, nobody else helps us. Not in meaningful ways. It's good to talk and say, "Oh yeah, I'm with you, brother." But where's the reparations? This country hasn't formally apologized. This country has been built on our labor and them, theft from stealing from us in numerous ways, whether it's cheating us out of property taxes, uh, overcharging us for car insurance, charging us higher taxes for gas in our communities, cheating us when it comes to education, not funding our schools equally. Um, just you name it. It's just so many ways to name the ways we've been cheated, and not just by white people, by all groups. We've been hated, some of the most hated people on earth, and yet we still have the hearts of little puppies. We want to be loved and respected. Love and respect is not going to get us anywhere except for dead. This country is getting ready to go into a war, And if you think other people are going to align themselves and worry about us, Black people, y'all got another thing coming. Folks are going to start circling the wagons. They're going to start having conversations in their groups. People who can flee are going to flee. People who have resources are going to do what people who have resources do. All these other groups are going to collect into their little enclaves and protect each other. And Black folks still going to be around here looking stupid, thinking, oh, well, this person didn't give me nothing. This person didn't help me. Give up on that dream. This ride is closed. This country is about to fall. And I've been warning you for the last probably 5 years about the fact it's here. The death rattle is rattling. All the distractions are distracting. They're telling you everything is good, you're safe, and we got peace when the devil is knocking at the front door. So get your minds together, Black people. We don't have any friends. The only friend you got is your brother, your fellow African American people, and the Most High. You can ignore history, or you can pretend to, you know, believe that we can get along and being nice to each other and fighting for equality and equity is going to save you. Even with this trans thing, notice how, even with the trans, somehow the white men who say they're trans women or whatever, they still manage to scream and shout and benefit the most. Like, everything about this country is a farce, and you got to get that in your heads. There is no equity, there is no equality, there's just a Ponzi scheme. You got to rob Peter to pay Paul. In order for this Ponzi scheme to work, you got to have a bottom, surf class, and it's been deemed that we are it. African Americans are the surf class of this country, and everybody got to help keep us oppressed. So just understand, we don't have any friends. There's no such thing as allyship. There's no such thing as a POC coalition. It's just us against the world. And the few handful of allies we do have, that's nice and cool, but it's not enough. Allyship is not enough. We need reparations and a formal apology from all these various groups. All these groups owe us. So until they start doing that, I don't have any energy for talking about race relations anymore. Because there is no relations. There are races that don't relate with us. There are races that don't like us. There are races that don't respect us. There are races that have abused us, used us, and laugh at us, keep us in poverty, confused, and full of delusions. And there's no way we're going to be able to overcome this until we fix, unless and until we come to some understanding about the realities of life. This fantasy of the POC coalition and getting along, it's a fantasy. It's not true. It's not reality. And keeping that mindset is going to get you killed, because these people don't care anything about us. And when the bullets start flying and the food start flying off the shelves, you're going to find out real quick. We have no friends. So with that said, I want to encourage my brothers and sisters to change your mindset, love yourselves, understand the assignment. The assignment right now is Black love, Black healing, circling the wagons, I don't even know. I guess you can demand reparations until the last day, but I don't see these people getting up off of anything. The only thing that's gonna save them is judgment. Um, them doing what they need to do, repenting for their sins, and asking the Most High for forgiveness, because they're at this point their money is not going to save them. So I suspect that when everything kicks off, a lot of us are going to suffer because we're still thinking that, oh, we're going to be covered by the government. We're going to be covered by these different groups. Nobody's going to protect us. Nobody likes us. So with that said, please make sure you do whatever it is that you need to do to get your houses in order, and understand that all these groups that are trying to crawl into the sick and shut in bag, they ain't sick and shut in. They're just looking for a leg up, a back to climb on, a head to use to brainstorm a new way to get over on us, or to trick our people into believing that if we just keep waiting, things will get better. Nothing is going to get better. This country has ran its course, it's been run in the ground, and it is failing. So, with that said, do the best you can, but understand the realities of where we are. It's a failed state. It's not going to get better, it's only going to get worse. So, you know what we got to do. If you're Israel, you got to ride with Israel and leave the rest of the people behind, because they're going to do the same thing. They're going to ride with their tribes and not rock with you. Um, it's time to circle the wagons. We don't really have any friends, and it's not to be disrespectful to anybody. It's just a message for African Americans. It is time to circle the wagon. This thing is about to get real. And hurting yourself, killing yourself, not taking care of your brother or sister, all we doing is cursing ourselves. So let's pray and repent, get back to the basics. We know what we got to do. Um, we don't have any friends. That's my takeaway. Um, the people who are supposed to be uh, chosen are also oppressors. And now that the truth is coming out, they want to turn the page and move on. But everybody's day is coming, and they're going to have to deal with the fact that they did what they did and did not do recompense. Without recompense, the wound is still there, the damage is still there, and the judgment is coming. So, with that said, again, I will leave the link to this video in the description. You can watch it in its entirety. There are a lot of good videos and educational material on this channel about who we are. If you're African American, this is your first time to the channel, you're not aware that African Americans are Jewish and where we come from. This is a really good channel to begin with, to learn about who we are. So, with that said, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to my Rumble channel as well, in case I am booted off of this channel. And please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section to just give me some feedback about, what do you think, if you're African American, about the POC coalition, about the truth coming out about all these different groups who have oppressed us, and the lack of willingness to give reparations to African Americans. What does that say about this world, and what does it say about us, that we keep trying to beg for friendship instead of begging for, or demanding respect and repair? So, Again, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and I'm out.